You're not the only one who does what you do. You can probably think of at least 5 people that you know in your space that are doing as well or better than you, simply because you are invisible to those who are looking for you. It's not your fault. The old ways just no longer work, especially if you're in the 45 plus age group. We are accustomed to handshake deals, face-to-face networking, and referrals. These days, the most basic of search begins online. Everyone is taking their mobile phones and looking for the nearest restaurant, the nearest service provider, and today your competition is not even 2 physical doors down from you. Your competition is potentially global. I know many coaches in Australia who coach clients in the United States and vice versa. So today, in 2025, as I'm making this video, it is harder than ever to stand out from the competitive crowd. However, you don't have to accept defeat. You don't have to pack up shop and go back to a 9-to-5. If you are a founder, CEO, it is time you become the CEO celebrity of your space, the preferred premium option for purchase when people are searching for exactly what you do. The challenge is you need some new strategies. You need to be showing up online. And an occasional post here or there, guys, is not gonna cut it. Because when somebody goes to do a search, the internet, the browsers, even ChatGPT today is reaching out and seeing what is the most digitally visible. And you, my friend, are not one of them. So, Dr. Trudy Beerman here, and I've been in media as a journalist and now in TV for decades. So, well, in TV since 2019, I've had my own channel. The point though is I'm exactly where you were. And if you're watching this and you're ahead of me, fine, then maybe you can help me. But for those of you who are behind me, let me share with you the shortcut to getting to where I am. And trust me, I have spent thousands and thousands of dollars on coaching, on techniques, on learning new strategies, on learning new technologies. And if you just spend a few sessions with me, you can shortcut my learning curve and get to where I am much faster than it took me to get to where I am today. But if you are behind me, let me hold your hand and give you the fast, quick, the strategies to get where I am and beyond, because I'm continuously growing, guys. I am not staying here. I'm not resting on my laurels. My goal is to become the premium preferred go-to for exactly what I do. So as I'm here today, I want to talk to you about the Internet Domination Blueprint, the Internet Domination Blueprint. Now, this is a work in progress document. What does that mean? I am still using the very strategies I want to be sharing with you because they are evergreen and they're continuous. And as you become more consistent with all these strategies, you're going to stack you're going to compound. You're going to have a compound effect as you stack the tasks, you stack the strategies. So I am not done with these strategies, but I have been using them and I'm going to share them with you. But it took me a long time to figure these things out. So let's talk about the Internet Domination Blueprint so you can be found and famous for what you do. Let's start with the main point. If you get nothing else from this video, I want you to walk away with this. And that is Internet domination equals recognition and authority. Recognition and authority. Recognition plus authority. Okay? Internet domination equals recognition plus authority. This is important. It's not just one or the other, guys. You really need both. So if you can think of influencers, there's so many of them now, influencers, and they have recognition, right? They're coming out in their bikinis, or they're doing some fancy dance, or they're running a prank. They have recognition. They don't have authority. What is happening is a lot of us CEOs are hiring these influencers and asking them to be either our brand ambassadors or to share our offers with their audience because they have the recognition. They're borrowing our authority. Some of you, though, that I'm speaking to, you have authority. You're definitely a master at what you do. You do not have recognition. So you are a big fish in a small pond. What you need is recognition. That's what we're going to be talking about here in the Internet Domination Blueprint, because the given is you are good at what you do. You have mastery at what you do. If you do not have mastery at what you do and you're still, trying to get out there, you can still apply these principles. But the audience I'm speaking to, I'm assuming you have some domain. You have some subject matter dominion, meaning you are really good at what you do. And because you're good at what you do, you think your work should speak for itself. Heads up, that used to be true. Today, that is no longer true. If you are digitally invisible, if you're not findable online for what you do, and you're depending on word of mouth and referrals and handshakes and face-to-face networking, those still work. But you are really going to be limited in the number of people that you serve. The number of people that you serve is going to affect your impact, and it's absolutely going to affect your income, and ultimately it will affect your level of influence. So we're talking the outcome of internet domination when you have recognition and authority is influence, is impact, and it's definitely a boost to your income. I would say if you're thinking about it, it's worth it to hear what I'm having to share right now. So what I am proposing is that you consider joining my Kingdom Spotlight Media Challenge. It is a tiny excerpt of my larger Nom de Valeur personal consulting program. Nom de Valeur, French for name of value. That comes right out of a biblical concept in Proverbs 22:1 that says a good name is more valuable than riches. And if you think about it, it absolutely is. That is the reason why during the elections, you had both parties bringing on people who had recognition and authority to help them boost their chances at the polls. They definitely connected with people who had internet domination to help them at the polls. But you can use the same strategy. You don't need to be winning an election, but you do want to be winning at the game of what you do to become the preferred premium option for purchase. So let's go. So the current problem with having influence, the current influence models is, again, like I said, using influencers who have recognition. Now, this strategy does work, and a lot of founders, a lot of CEO founders are using influencers and using them successfully. However, what you're gonna have is message dilution. Message dilution. Because these influencers cannot properly represent your brand. And in fact, their very next video might be something that is contrary to your brand or offensive to your brand. And to be associated with that person going forward might become a problem. So you will see brands distance themselves to people who they used to be connected with and then later on have done something bad. So for example, when Bill Cosby had that scandal on him, all the people in Hollywood who were his friends suddenly distance themselves from him. So when we use influencers, yes, that is a model. Yes, many have had success. That is not the model that I'm suggesting that you work towards diligently. I'm not saying don't use it, but you as a CEO founder, or a CEO if not the founder, you should be looking to build up your own personal brand so that you have both recognition and authority, because you are the best person to represent your brand. For example, Richard Branson, who owns a whole Virgin group of companies, Virgin Air, Virgin Radio, all of those things, he doesn't actually work in his business, but he is the face of his business. Just like Elon Musk, yes, he's more active in his business, but he's the face of his business. He has great people working for him, but he is the face of his business. Donald Trump, like him or not, he is the face of Trump everything. And it is this idea that the CEO founder is the best person to represent their brand is the idea that I'm promoting here, is the idea that you should be working towards. Even if you use the influencers, please build your personal brand. Now, notice I said personal brand. I did not say organizational brand. I'm certainly not saying product brand, because humans connect with humans. It's the reason why we're using the influencers. It's the reason why Nike uses all these athletes, because Nike, although Nike is a popular brand, it got popular because they used athletes, because humans resonate with humans. They want to aspire to be like Mike, or they want to run or to play tennis like the Vanessa. They want to resonate with those people, and because they resonate with those humans, the sales go up. So trust me, it's all fine and well. The Nike brand, the Apple brand, all the Tesla brand, they've all risen up as recognizable brands, but they did so on the shoulders of their founders. So please hear me out. You do want to be actively working to build your personal brand. And I know a lot of you are camera shy. You want to stay out of the public eye, and certainly celebrities struggle with privacy once they become so popular. And so the moment you do raise up in your profile, yes, you are going to become more public. You are going to have to decide to give up a little bit of your privacy to become the celebrity CEO that I'm suggesting you become. However, in the end, the trade-off will be worth it. The trade-off will be worth it. I promise you. I'm certainly experiencing that. I just had someone say, oh, I met my famous friend Trudy. I don't see myself as famous. The people who know me are still a very tiny population. Now, yes, it might be a little bit greater than yours is right now, but I didn't certainly see myself as famous. But to this person, she saw me as famous because I'm appearing in her ecosystem all over the place. So I am appearing to be famous to her. And as I increase my internet domination, my name, my face, my brand will be more recognized. And that's what I am hoping for you. That's what I'm wishing and ready to empower you to do. So let's talk about the Reachology Framework. Now, Reachology is my US-based trademark, and I have defined it as the art and science of influential reach. Influential reach is a fancy way of saying big fish in a big pond. Some of you are big fish in small ponds. You're well known at your church, you're well known at your school, you're well known in your organization, but you step outside of that, nobody knows who you are. And that's why a lot of you stay there, because you get the ego boost from this tiny little group, and you don't like it when you step out of it and nobody knows who you are. There are a lot of celebrities who get offended when the people that they're around them don't recognize them and don't give them their, their flowers. However, I'm just saying that you do want to jump ponds and grow again. You do want to gain recognition. You have the authority. Let's work on the recognition. So Reachology has 5 pillars. So in no particular order, we have credentials. Credentials are your certifications, your degrees, your licenses. That's your credentials. Then we have experience. So you have 20 years in this industry, or you lost 100 pounds. That's your experience. Then we have publications. Now, in this category, if you've written a book, definitely. But writing a book alone is not only this. This also includes press coverage or any kind of, you're on a podcast, you're on a stage, anything that is distributed to a larger group of people, large distribution. But I strongly encourage, if you haven't already, write a book for what you do. I promise you, it's not even about the book sales at this point. When you write a book covering the area of your mastery, it adds depth to your credentials. It makes you look more credible in your space when you've written a book, especially because so many people want to write a book, have started writing a book and never finished it. Just the accomplishment of that is huge. And then your book, even if it's terrible and people think it's horrible, they're gonna have to quote you to say why it's horrible. But if you even make 0 sales, the fact that you are a published author in your area of expertise is going to boost your credibility, especially when you're trying to get to be a speaker or guest on various stages. It is going to up your ante. But I promise you, there are multiple ways to add extra income because you've written a book. But that's not the conversation of today. Then we have your following. How many people would come to an event? How many people would fill a room for you if you put out an invite? How many, compile it, aggregate it? How many followers you have on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on X? You can total them up because that is your total potential reach. How many in your email? How many in your Rolodex, right? This is your potential reach, your following. Now, we all know that when you use social media, they tend to show to a fraction of the followers. But the point is, potentially, you have that level of reach in terms of following. Last but not least is your digital footprint. I'll draw a little foot. Your digital footprint. Your digital footprint is, if you Googled yourself, does your name show up? And if your name does show up, is it on page 1? And if your name does show up and it shows up on page 1, especially towards the top, is it for what you currently do? Because a lot of times you're there, but it's for something outdated. So if you look my name up, you will probably find, at this point, probably on page 3, that I was in the financial industry. That's actually why I went to TV in the first place. So I have tons of credentials in the financial space. And that's what made me go to TV. I had that message to share. I've pivoted. But the point is, if you Google me, there is still part of my digital footprint, the fact that I was in the financial services space. But if that was what was on page 1 for me, it wouldn't serve me because that's not what I currently do. And if somebody called me based on that post or that internet link, I would now have been exposed to somebody who I really can't serve. So your digital footprint is going to be, how findable are you online? And my goal is to get you found and famous for what you do. Because when you get found and famous for what you do, your impact goes up because you're serving more people, your influence goes up, and your income goes up. This is a very valuable skill set. So you do want to improve. You already have the authority. This is my assumption. If you are working on your authority, keep building your mastery. But you definitely also want to build that recognition. So if you were to become a client of mine, we would dive more deeply into this, but I encourage you to consider joining the Kingdom Media Spotlight Challenge. Like I said, that's a tiny fraction of the larger non-devaluer program. It is a tiny investment. You walk away with specific outcomes. So there's a clear before and a clear after, and you'd have had an experience of working with me. And then you can make the decision if you want to go further, but you will leave with absolutely, you will leave with a media sheet. I don't have time to discuss that right now, but if you came in with a media sheet, it will be an optimized sheet. You will have a YouTube channel. Now, if you had one already when you came into the program, it will be an optimized YouTube channel. Then you will also have a video for your YouTube channel, positions you as the go-to person in your space. You will also get access to our Reachology score, which is going to tell you exactly where you are in this whole recognition and authority space. You will identify the gaps in your internet domination, and that output will also give you quick fixes for some of those. So even if you do not continue with me, you will have a report that's going to identify your Reachology score, your internet domination score, and some quick strategies to start to fix the score so it goes up. So let me share two quick case studies with you. I just had a gentleman go through my August 2025 experience of the Kingdom Media Spotlight Challenge. Now, he is in his early 50s. English wasn't even his first language. He did speak English, but it wasn't his first language. And he participated in the Kingdom Media Spotlight Challenge. He came in, he did have a YouTube channel, but it was like 9 videos and like 2 subscribers, okay? That was it. He did not have a media sheet, didn't even know what that was, and he had no idea of his internet domination experience. So when he was done with that, he now is findable, because not only did he get an optimized YouTube channel, but he now has a video on that channel that positions him for what he does. So if you had gone to his channel before, it did not position him. It was just a channel. But now if he directs people to that channel, first of all, your YouTube channel is findable. YouTube is the second largest search engine behind Google, which Google owns YouTube. Now, guys, ChatGPT and all these other AI search engines are gaining traction, which is even more important that you are findable online, because they are still scraping the internet. The only difference is how they deliver the output. So that's a conversation for another day. But he left knowing exactly what his score was, with a full report with strategies that he can DIY, fix as many of those as he wants himself. He left with an optimized YouTube channel with a video positioning him, and he now has a media sheet. What's the value of the media sheet? He now has something to pitch himself to podcasts, to TV, which he will be on my television show shortly. He has an opportunity to send this quick sheet. It's an industry expectation, so that if someone wanted to consider him for their show, for their stage, that they have a quick overview of him, his talking points, and so forth. So that's one case study. But I am my own case study. I do have more, guys, but for the sake of time, I am my own case study. I practice what I preach. Now, I came to TV years ago because I had this message that I wanted to share. And I grew up in the days where I saw what television did for the gospel. I saw how television was used to bring all these people to the stadium in Jamaica to hear Billy Graham, and so many. And back then we didn't have social media. We didn't have YouTube. But television is how they got the word out and got hundreds of thousands of people to the stadium, many of whom gave their lives to Christ. And I've watched my father use TV throughout, and I realized the power of television to get the word out. So when I had my own message to share, I wanted to do TV. Now at the time, there was no YouTube. But when YouTube did come along, personally, I didn't value it because I saw TV the way I kind of see TikTok. Maybe some of you share my opinion, the dances, the pranksters, you know, the bikinis, you know, I didn't see a brand alignment with YouTube at the time. So I did use YouTube. I joined YouTube maybe about 2007. I think it came out in 2005. And at the time, all I used YouTube for was to get a shareable link, just to get a shareable link. So if I was sharing my fitness or my meal or something, I would just dump it on YouTube so I could get a link to share with my audience. That was it. I had no value for YouTube beyond that. That changed 3 years ago, less than 3 years ago. And in less than 3 years, my PSI TV YouTube channel went from 0 to, as at this morning, I'm over 22,000 subscribers, but hundreds of thousands of views are coming to that channel that from people who are not subscribers. Then my Facebook is a little over 50,000. I'll admit it's kind of stagnant because I'm not really pushing Facebook like I used to. I have a different feel about Facebook these days, and it's really challenging to build on more than one platform. My Instagram's about 18,000. I hadn't checked this morning. And my website is growing. The Influence Media News is getting a lot of reach. People are seeing me on TV and recognizing me when they see me out in the crowd. I'm telling you guys, I always had that authority. I have domain skill sets. I have subject matter expertise, but I'm also building recognition. So you can jump out of that small pond into a larger pond so you can get recognized, not just in your peer group, but in your city, in your state, in the nation, and why not the world. There's no reason. Global experiences are happening, and your competitor is probably someone that's not even in your town. So there's no reason why you shouldn't shoot for global domination. And that's why I said internet domination, because the internet is global. And if you're findable on the internet, you're basically globally available to whomever is looking for what you do. Now, let us go on to the academic backing. So the celebrity CEO model does require you to have some kind of subject matter expertise. You're going to be known for something. What do you want to be known for? If I said Tiger Woods, he's known for golf. If I said Kobe Bryant, he's dead, but he's known for basketball, right? So what do you want to be known for? Now, does it mean that that's all they do, right? No, they do more than that, but they are known for. So this goes back to when someone searches for you. If you do come up, are the references, the links that are there, are they sharing what you currently do, what you want to be known for? Now, if you have pivoted and shifted gears and the things that are coming up are not what you currently do, you have to get very busy to overcome, because it's, you know, you'll have to like do so much content that it gets pushed to, like I said, page 3 or beyond. People don't really tend to look beyond page 1 or 2 anyways. So you want to create a volume of content that the things that you're currently doing are more prevalent and more at the top of the search response. Okay? So what we want to do is go from invisible to influential. Influential. Going from invisible to influential. And the celebrity CEO model is very much a good one. And as an example of the internet domination model, let's look at the Kardashian-Musk example. The Kardashian-Musk example. Kardashian, you all know who Kim Kardashian is, right? Kardashian, the Kardashian, Musk. Some of you don't like him right now, but I don't care. This isn't about politics. This is just the fact that you know who he is, right? That is the point. You know who he is. You may not like Trump, but you know who he is. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. And there are 4 things about them that we can model, like we can adopt. Okay, the first one is they command attention. The second one is they take definitive positions. Now, you may not like those positions. Now, you may not like those positions, but you know what they are because they take definitive positions. For example, in the last election, Elon Musk, who was known to be a Democrat, switched sides and went to becoming a Republican. And he took a definitive position in doing that. And that caused him a lot of hate. He didn't really care. And this is not a political conversation, but the point is they take definitive positions and they're ready to take the hate, because along with the hate comes the love. And also there's a clear definition on their audience. Their audience also is taking sides, love them or hate them. And this is one of the things, you've got to take a definitive position, because when you are lukewarm, you stand for absolutely nothing. The third thing is, and this is super important, they stay consistently visible. They stay consistently visible. They show up all the time. I mean, Elon now owns X, or it used to be Twitter, now X. He's constantly posting there, and there's so many parody versions. Do you think it's still him? So it just makes him even seem more visible. Staying consistently visible. Last but not least, they build movements. They're known for something. So Kim Kardashian is known for the First Step Act movement. She's not the author of it, but she's an advocate for it. And because of her recognition and authority and her taking a definitive position, she has attention, she's consistently visible, it made this movement very powerful, because she was an advocate for the First Step Act. It's a federal law that reduces sentence and improve prison conditions for non-violent crimes. And that is what we can achieve when we have recognition and authority. When you build recognition and authority, we're not talking about being a social media personality. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to get you to become a social media personality. I am empowering and equipping you to become a celebrity CEO, to build your executive presence. So it's not about whether or not you have a personal brand, because you have one. The problem is, one is being built by default for you. A brand is not necessarily what you say about yourself. You can influence what people say about you with the things you say about yourself, but the brand is what others say about you when you're not around. So you are building a personal brand. One may be built by default, but you can intentionally build your personal brand. You can intentionally build your personal brand. And when you build that personal brand, those relationships, the people who know you, because people connect with people, that will lift the organization that you have, that will lift the products that you sell. So for example, PSI TV, I'm the face of PSI TV. But eventually, PSI TV will become a recognizable brand all on its own. And then if I step away as CEO, or I even sell the company, at that point, the goal is that PSI TV as a brand has enough recognition that if someone else steps in, the company will still continue. A lot of people know who Steve Jobs is, and if you say Apple, a lot of them will instantly think of Steve Jobs. Well, Steve Jobs has been dead for 14 years, and there is a current CEO. Most of you don't even know who that is. Go look it up, because I'm not going to tell you. The point is that the personal brand will give credibility and authority and recognition to your organization and to the products and services that you sell, to your mission. You need to build a personal brand. Stop hiding. Stop saying you don't want to be in front of the camera. Stop shying away from networking opportunities. The pros outweigh the cons. It really does. When it comes to your personal brand, if you're being intentional about your personal brand, you can build it yourself. Now, what you say about you will influence what others think about you, but it will not solidify it, because Trump says a lot of things about himself, and there's a whole lot of people that believe nothing he says, right? But those who do look to what he has said about himself to take a reference point to what they've decided to believe. So you can influence your brand, but you can't ultimately dictate. The brand is not what you make it. The brand is what other people think about you, but you can influence the building of that brand. Now, if you choose to work with me, we will be very strategic about what content you put out there, the executive presence that you're building, the expanding of your network, so that you build more recognition into your authority. And that will help to build your personal brand. It will help to expand your recognition. And so you'll be jumping from that small pond into a bigger pond. So you will grow again. So when you jump ponds, you grow again, and you become a bigger fish in a bigger pond, and then you keep jumping until, like I said, you become well known in your city, your state, your nation, and maybe even the world. So the call to action, guys, is let's work on building that reputation. Let's work on building that personal brand. It can start with a tippy-toe experience into the Kingdom Media Spotlight Challenge, or if you're ready to invest in your brand, in your name, in your mission, in your influential reach, then you can consider the Nom de Valeur program. I'd be as happy to work with you on that. And depending on the packages you pick, they will include TV, press release, and so much more. Dr. Trudy Beerman here. I hope you found some value in this presentation. Let's get you found and famous for what you do. Internet domination. Let's build that recognition to your authority. Let's get you found and famous for what you do to scale your impact